Lord. Let us pray. Father in heaven, we thank you once again for blessing us to come together. Put your arms around us, keeping us safe, everyone in danger. Bless our homes, our families. Give us wisdom and knowledge tonight, Lord, to take care of business for the city of Jacksonville and its residents. In the name of Jesus, we ask to pray, Lord. Amen. Join me in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Secretary, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Green? Here. Commissioner Ray Patel? Commissioner Andy Patel?
Here.
Commissioner Hurley?
Here.
Commissioner Sandemeyer?
Here.
Councilmember Collins?
Here.
What absent, sir?
Yeah, we do have a quorum. Thank you. Everybody received the minutes in the packet. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes as read?
So moved. Second.
All right, let me move the second minute.
You can slice that up however you want to.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, approval. It's this time,
Aye.
Financial Secretary. Step forward, please, now. We're looking forward to you.
On the, good evening. This is on. Good evening. The first sheet in our financial report is the balance sheet for the period ending October 31st. The total assets is $1,143,398. Total liabilities is $205,271. The next sheet is the statement of revenues and expenditures. Total revenues is $682,140, and expenditures is $475,991. So we had excess of revenues over expenditures by $206,149. And the next few pages are just documents to support those two reports. And then the sheet behind that is the summary on the hotel motel gross revenues. For the month of September, the hotel motel gross revenues was $235,627. That, whenever you compare a year-to-date comparison, that's down 5% compared to last year. But if you compare the month-to-month comparison, we're up by 7%. On the prepared foods, the gross revenue was $3,584,118. Year-to-date comparison, it's down 2%, but the month-to-month comparison, it's up 11%. And on the overall revenues for September, the total was $3,819,744. The year-to-date is down 2%, but the month-to-month comparison, it's up 11%. And I want to make a statement here that the prepared foods, the reason why it was up is because during COVID, a lot of the traffic that used to go to Sherwood and North Little Rock down the freeway were staying here and using our drive-throughs. And so that's the reason why our prepared foods have been up.
That's good.
And
That's
yeah.
very good.
Yes.
Okay.
I see the $400,000.
And that is, and then the sheet behind that is just kind of like an overview of how our revenues have been tracking for this year, to show you kind of a comparison between the 2019 and the 2018, just so that you can have a look and see how it's being affected by COVID. And so that's what that last two.
Does anybody else have any questions for Cheryl?
Hey, Cheryl, I see the lots of penalties revenue for food. Is it normal happening because of COVID, or what's going on?
I'm not exactly sure about the penalties.
3,000 or,
Yeah, the year-to-date penalties. I think that was because there's been a couple of places that had failed to report whenever they were supposed to. And so it's like for prior months. And we charge them a penalty for filing late.
okay. So now everybody is on track as of
I believe.
last month?
I believe so.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Let me understand about the COVID. Somebody get late. Are we giving them any leverage in case for any reason? If they get late because of the right reason?
No, because the prepared food tax and the hotel motel tax, they're both pass-throughs. They're collecting it from their customers already. So it should be a straight, they collect it and then the next month they turn it into us. There's not any, so it's not really affected by that.
Okay, got you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Cheryl? Do I hear a motion to accept the financial report?
I'll make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you all. I think do we have any old business? I don't have any old business to bring to you all. All right, let's go down to new business. Our new business will be a budget. It's that time again, and budget time, and get our calculators out, accounting shoes on, accounting thing on, and do I need to start? Do anybody have anything to talk about the budget before I get started? If not, we start with the special projects. We talk about the advertising, media, publication.
Wait a minute, Randy, I do have one. The revenues,
Yes, go ahead.
why do we make the assumption of 829,500, which last year we made the same assumption?
Is this on, Nikki? Okay. What I did with the revenues is I basically just left it at the same as 2020, because whenever we did the 2020 budget, we didn't have any idea that COVID was going to
No,
take
we
it.
certainly didn't.
Right. And so.
Nor do we know what it's going to do
Correct.
coming up here either.
Correct. And so that's the reason why I didn't want to change any of those figures, and I just left it straight with what we had budgeted for 2020, because at this point, we really don't have a clue. And so even though right now our prepared foods is up, it's not given that it's going to continue that way. And so that's the reason why I wanted to be conservative and go ahead and just use what we budgeted in
I
2020.
think being conservative would be budgeting slightly under what we forecast for this year.
Well, if everything is normal, I usually budget a 2% increase
I
every
understand
year.
that.
Yeah. And so for 2020, we had budgeted a 2% increase. And so,
But when we're approving expenditures,
Mhm.
we need to keep in mind that that's what we hope to
right,
do.
right,
That's not necessarily the reality of what we will generate.
true.
So,
True.
I mean, you can't, and this, what we're looking at right here, if we approved everything on here, there's a relatively small margin
Right.
in excess.
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure that we understand that.
Right. Well, I kind of like projected for the end of the year, and our prepared foods is going to be close to like 859,000 instead of the 829 that we had budgeted. So we're going to be receiving more revenue than what we had originally projected.
Okay.
And our expenditures are low for 2020 because a lot of the activities were not done.
Understand.
Happen.
And so
Yeah.
there will be some carryover from prior period that we could use if we need to do some
If
of
we
these
choose
events.
to.
Right,
I got you.
right.
So Sarah, one more thing to add in there. Maybe the restaurant revenue might stay same or maybe increase, but the hotel is not looking to increase anything, because the occupancy will stay down for years to come. So we need to make sure that you budgeted the revenue of a hotel would be very conservative, because I'm not looking forward to see. I mean, I'm optimistic to hoping for change, but the data showing for next 2-3 years to come back for the hotel industry in particular.
Yes, yes. The hotel motel taxes is conservative also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, are we ready to get started?
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. We'll let our secretary talk about the first one. First line item.
Okay, first line item, as you noticed in the administrative and operational expenditures, we kept them remaining the same as they were in the 2021 and the 2020. With supplies and materials at 200. And audit services for 1,000. City attorney for 5,000. Temporary services at 20,000. Recording secretary at 4,000. Operating expense at 3,000. Postage at 250. Stage insurance at 100. Credit card fees, we did increase to 1,500 because we've had credit card transactions have increased this year significantly, and we'll continue to move forward. Folks will probably, now that they're used to that, we'll probably continue on with that trend. And then website maintenance at 1,900. Anyone have any objection to any of those expenditure line items?
I've got a question.
Yes.
Being new on commission, what is the temporary services? What does that include? Just out of curiosity.
The temporary services, the reason why we put it in, it's temporary because whenever we first started up the commission, we thought that we might actually get another accounting person to do the bookkeeping of it as well as processing the payments and everything. But the city has pretty much incurred all of that. And so that is basically paying the city for our accounting and our finance services.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion to accept the administration operation expenditure?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go to secretary again on the special projects.
Okay, under the first item is advertising, media, publication, and external advertising. We left that in at 18,000. That is renewing of ads that are already existing, as well as wanting to look towards renewing some of our photography for 2021. That's outdated.
Year to date, though, we spent $3,600 of that this year, right?
That is correct.
And so, I mean, I'm okay with leaving it at 18, but have we ever spent 18 in a year?
This is the first year we have this line item.
Last year,
2020
2020.
is the first year we had the line item.
Okay, we need to look at that after this 2021. I mean, if it's a $10,000 category, we don't have to necessarily budget 18 every year,
Mhm,
you
That's
know,
correct.
but we need a history to be able to make that determination.
I agree.
We're gonna leave it at 18.
It's fine with me.
Okay. Your motion to leave it at 18?
Do we have to vote every line item? Is that what we're gonna?
No,
do?
we don't have to go to every line item. We don't have to do it. No, we don't have to.
We can if you want.
We can go all the way down. Now, next is Parks and Recs, and we can go all the way down to the end and then vote on the whole Parks and Rec package. That's what we want to do. Okay? All right. Kevin, are you there? Kevin, are you there? Marlo?
I'm
Anybody at Parks and Rec?
ready. This is Kevin.
Okay, all right. Do you want to make a statement before we start here?
Well, first I want to apologize for not being there. Alicia, new events coordinator, planned on being there. Her flight got delayed, and I was just going to zoom in case y'all had questions for me. I'm actually in the deer woods, and I hope I can hear and answer questions for y'all if y'all have any.
Okay, all right. Okay, I've gone over your thing pretty good here. And what I'm gonna do is ask the commissioners, by line item, do any commissioners want to question any of the line items? I see there's $189,600 in the packet. Is that, do I got that figure right?
Well, if you total up every one of those
Yes,
single items,
right.
I'm not willing to do that.
Okay, that's what I asked, is you want to do that?
I do
How you
not
wanna
want to
do
do it. We're
Okay,
on
let's
Big
go.
Bang on the range.
Okay, let's go to the big bang on the range. Let's go to that one first, all right?
Okay.
19.5.
Kevin, that's a $4,500 increase from what we budgeted in 2020.
Yes.
Without me having to read through these, can you kind of give me a synopsis on what the increase is for?
The plan was to hire some entertainment, expand the kids area. And I don't know how many of you've been out to the event. It's turned into a huge draw for us. So our thought process was, let's capture them while we got them there. Pay some live entertainment, even local bands, and increase the kids area.
Are we at capacity out there on the day of the event?
Well, it depends on. we're gonna have to do a better job parking. Let me put it that way. We will need to do a better job with parking because that's 10 acres of parking and we've been filled to the brim the last 3 years.
You feel that because I was out there and it took me an hour and a half to get out the parking lot when it was over with.
Hey, Kevin, this is Roger.
Yes.
First of all, have you bagged any yet so far?
No, my little boy's missed one, but that's what it's about.
All right, we're gonna talk real fast and not make a lot of noise for you. So, what time do people start getting out there? 'Cause like in my personal case, I kind of want to go right at the last minute, so I'm one of the last ones in the parking lot, so I can be one of the first ones out. And so, what time are people showing up to the point that is this thing really broken? We need to fix it or even expand on it. Is a fireworks show, it is what it is, and we are trying to make too much of it, or is there a need from feedback from people?
There is from feedback, and we've actually had people in the parking lot even this year when it was nothing but fireworks at 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I was there at 5 o'clock.
There's people in the parking lot. But I got there about 4:45 and there was already people there. And that's one of the reasons why we put it in, just from feedback from people there, how, they would like to see more things for the kids to do instead of just a 20-minute fireworks show and you spend an hour to get out.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying no, I think it's a great event. I'm just kind of wondering, do we need that $3,000 budgeted for marketing? Does this thing kind of sell itself? And then if you've got local artists and bands and groups and that kind of stuff, are they going to promote themselves wanting to grow this? Do we need real marketing, or does it really kind of just sell itself? Because that would save us $3,000.
Roger, you know that as well. You know that as well as I do. If we're not going to market it, then why have it? That's my feelings on everything we do. If we don't market it, and yes, these local bands should promote themselves, but also, I feel that's our job as partially our job as the promoter and the ones putting the event on. If we're not going to market it, it don't mean.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm poorly asking is that $3,000 going to sales agency to create content, or are they placing content?
Placing. We've got everything.
Okay.
As far as there may be some tweaks to it, obviously, but
yeah,
it will be mostly placement of content.
So, Kevin, Andy here. So when Roger is asking about marketing, how we've been doing for years without budgeting towards the marketing, because this is the local events all city does, And I think they might do better job next year because of the 2020, 2021, they might do better. So what are you trying to attract here? Because this is the completely local events.
And I disagree that it's completely local, because we actually had people this year that I talked to from every surrounding city, even as far away as Benton, there watching the event. So, I mean, everything we do, and you guys all know this, I mean, it goes without saying, in Parks and Rec, we're quality of life for the citizens and to bring people to Jacksonville. I mean, that's our two main goals. That's kind of what we live by in parks. And yes, there are a lot of citizens, just local citizens that come to this, but we also, I think we could be missing the boat on drawing some out of town people in.
Because when you're competing against Little Rock do on a bigger scale, majority people from.
And I've had numerous people tell me our show was better than. Our show is better than the one in Little Rock and Pops on the River. The parking is more convenient. I mean, and that's why we're looking to expand this event.
Okay.
I'd like to hear a little bit, Kevin. I'd like to see more entertainment for interested children when they come out there. So people get out there at 5 o'clock, and we're not gonna start at 9 o'clock, and it's good to have some kind of entertainment going on all while there are people there. That's 3-4 hours there. And people looking forward to it. That's why they show up so early. They're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I will say this, Rudy. I thoroughly enjoy the fireworks show that Kevin and that group puts on. I think this is a big piece of our city. I like this one, and I want to see this one grow and continue to be a signature piece of ours. So I'm actually fine with this funding request. This isn't a hill I want to die on tonight. I've got other questions later on.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
I'd make a motion to fund this one.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's go to the next one. The festival. We have 60,000 festival. Everybody's festival was canceled this year. We hoping next year that we can have a festival. And our last festival I was at, they burned me out. So that was pretty good. It was really nice.
Okay, Kevin. So this is the hill that I want to die on.
And I'm sorry, I couldn't even hear which funding request this one was.
This is for Festivale.
60K.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the one that I think, from my perspective, is going to have the most conversation of the night. And I want to hear your feedback and your thoughts. I'm of the mindset that these city type festivals like this are becoming a little outdated. We see the same people attending year after year after year. And I wonder, does 2020 in all of its glory give us a chance to kind of reset and do something totally unique and different? And should we take that money that was spent on one big event and split that among numerous smaller events down in 5 Points and downtown and everything, and really start drawing people into our community to see what we have as far as stores and restaurants, as opposed to putting them out on Dupree Park where they're that close to the freeway they can just jump back on when they're done. So I'm just wondering, should we consider doing something different and kind of not do a festival, but do 4 or 5 seasonal fun at 5 Point type things?
And if that's the case, and if that's the route that the commission wants to go, we will need to figure out who to run them, because parks can't do 4 or 5 in a year. We're too busy at certain times of the year at the shooting range and with everything else we have going. And not saying that festival is an easy event to put on, but it's not hugely staffing except for about a week. If we're doing 5 events, then I've got to figure out how to staff 5 of them, and there's no way that would happen. So
when we did 5 Points a couple of years ago down on Main Street, how much support did Parks and Rec provide with Chamber of Commerce? Kev?
We set the stage up prior to, no, we didn't even do that on the last one because it was committed at the range. I mean, Roger, it was honestly like trash cans the day before, very little, because they scheduled the last one during an AYSSP shoot. That's our busiest, our biggest events at the shooting complex, and they last for 6 weeks. I can commit 0 staff for that 6 weeks, because if I've got an extra body, they are at the shooting complex. And we have, and our goal was to make some changes to Festivale, one being a beer garden. You know, I would love to see us do Igo tournament. We've thrown some ideas around of some things we could do, and it would still be, as you said, you know, just a city fest, but let's try to make ours different. And we've seen continuous growth on numbers since we started this. This would have been our 8th year that was canceled. You know, in 7 years, we went from about 1,000 people at the first one to, off a traffic counter last year, we had about 22,000 come to the 2-day event.
Yeah. This personally, and this is not a reflection on anybody, this is just my personal opinion. I just can't get my mind wrapped around another festival or another city festival like that. I just think we need to challenge ourselves to think of something differently, and whether that's with Parks and Rec solely or with, you know, all entities of the city coming together for some stuff. I don't know, but I feel like we should be trying to look at a different direction, honestly.
That's true, and I'm with that too. So when I think we funded $40K last year, right, Kevin? We budgeted $40K last year for 2020. I guess we could not do it
so, yes.
this year. So what was the reason that increase of 20K, if I ask?
And you know what? I don't have that budget with me. That's what Alicia was going to be there to answer. I apologize. I know some of it was for the beer garden. They increased in the tents for it, but I don't have that budget in front of me. I apologize.
So for that, do we have to, I mean, what Roger is brainstorming, and I think we all need to be brainstorming to bringing the quality festival event, because that's our hardcore local event, I guess. And Kevin is also right. They're busy. They cannot have 4 or 5 different events, but at least to make something more successful, I guess we all need to be brainstorm with the city and the chambers and everybody else, and trying to bring better 2021 events. You know, we are not sure how 2021 looking.
Yeah, because I mean, I'd really like to focus on how do we bring people into the community and showcase what we've got on the street, and kind of force them to take a look around, you know, as opposed to everyone setting up tents out in the field and letting them peruse. I'd really rather them be an active participant in our community.
That's correct.
Anybody else have anything? What I was thinking was, since we had such a bumpy year this year, I recommend we go on and do the 60,000, and we have 2021 to budget for something new, change the festival to something else.
Well, we don't have to do that if we're not doing festival. We don't have to budget it.
Yeah.
We can vote as it comes up. When the brainstorm comes through here, then we can look at that and approve it at that point in time. Can we not?
Well, I think what Reedy's suggesting is go ahead and fund it as is this year, and that gives us all of 21 to figure out what 22 looks like.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Since we had such a bumpy year this year is still bumpy.
Well, let me just point, I think, Kevin, if I'm not mistaken, that $20,000 differential has to do with the beer garden at $5,800 and about $15,000 worth of marketing. Is that right?
And there was also an additional, and like I said, I apologize, I don't have that budget in front of me, but I know there was an additional, we were going to do fireworks 2 nights was the plan, instead of just on one night like we done in 19.
I may have misread the firework line. We had 5,000 budgeted for this year, 6,000. So, I mean, that might be a little piece of it, but the marketing looked like 15,000 that wasn't on the other line item, plus the beer garden.
Right, right.
So, Reedy, could we do this instead of getting hung up and burning the entire night on this one? Can we allow Kevin to take a look at that line item budget and kind of see where the discrepancies are? And we table that one until next month to decide. And that gives us some additional opportunity to discuss, do we want to proceed this year with a festival as normal, or do we want to try to brainstorm and put together a couple of smaller events instead of? Could we do that?
Before y'all answer on that, I would like to remind you that what you're putting in here that's going to be going to the city, I enter that information into the city's budget. And so I'm going to be giving the city's preliminary budget on Thursday night for them to vote on it on December the 3rd. And so please take that into consideration while you're doing your budget.
And we have until, what is it, February to have the final budget passed?
Yes, officially we do. But we try to have it voted on and approved in December so that it makes the end of the year a whole lot easier on our accounting and finances.
Well, then is it possible, Reedy, that maybe next year we don't do this, this close to December, so we have some time and some leeway and flexibility to have some open, candid discussions about what we want to fund going forward?
Well, we can, and we can, if we fund it this year, next year, we can look at it before the funding time comes, for we can change Festival to something else, or add something to it, or take something from it. That sounds good.
We don't necessarily have to budget a full 60,000 though, correct?
That's what Cheryl said, we have to turn it in. She gonna turn that in?
She can turn it in.
No, I'll only turn in what you approve.
Yeah.
And so whatever amount that y'all want to approve for Festival, that's what I will put in the budget, and that's what we will work with.
Festival is one of Jacksonville's main drawing cards too,
So, if we don't approve and put on a table and discuss later on, is it gonna work, or we have to bring some fund available for festival or whatever? We can bring it and brainstorming and bring it later on with the under name of festival and do something different way.
Yeah, we can do that too. But all I'm suggesting is that for 2021, go ahead on, and then we'll work on something might come to us. You never know what's going to happen in the future, because it might be better than Festival.
Yeah, and if we don't use the fund, it's not something happen and we are not able to, that fund is not gonna be withdrawn from this A&P account, right? That's what we did in the past too.
We're not gonna fund it. If we don't fund 60,000, we're gonna fund whatever the commission said fund.
But the actual expenditures is what's going to be paid out. For instance, if you budget the 60,000, but we only spend 45, then that's what's going to be transferred over to the city. It's not going to be the 60,000 that you budgeted for it, just the actual expenditure will.
Then maybe I guess we can make a motion and let approve right now. And then I think we will discuss more or brainstorming later on. We don't have to get all the fund, but right now I think we can approve 60K if everybody's okay with that, you know. So
You want to make that motion?
I will make a motion to approve.
Hey, wait a minute.
We got,
Wait, I need some clarity here.
Okay.
So you're making a motion for 60,000 and we're putting it under Festivale, but you're saying we reserve the right to move it out of Festivale and put it on something else?
no.
Yes, that's what I said, if it's possible.
I don't think we can do it that way.
You can't move it. Once you voted in, you can't move it. I said we rely on Kevin and his staff to manage the 60,000, and he might have some left for Festival. I'm just saying the city of Jacksonville needs any kind of promotion that they can get, all kind of promotion.
So Kevin, how are we measuring where these people are coming from? How do we? What's the drawing radius of the festival?
And we've actually not done that, and that's something Alicia and I have discussed how we were going to handle that this year. And let me say this: if, like I said, I mean, I know Roger, you said this was a hill you wanted to die on. I think Festival's been a success, but I'm not going to stay. This isn't a hill I'm going to die on. I will have to know sooner. I mean, normally by December, once we get through Christmas parade, we start planning Festival. It's not something that happens within a month, and if we're gonna move forward with it, great, but I will need to know so I can get staff moving on getting this thing planned sooner instead of later.
No, and I totally appreciate that. I mean, I've done some events, not of that scale, but I realize that that current year's over. You're thinking about next year's already, but I mean, I'm thinking just from the commission's perspective, we're here mid-November saying, here's our budget, here's what we want to do, and oh, by the way, we have to have it all approved so we can make the city budget by December. That puts us in a bad spot in case we want to get creative and do some different things. And so maybe we should be having these type of discussions earlier in the year for our budgeting purposes, so we're able to approve with 100% certainty going forward, instead of us sitting there going, man, I just don't know. So I'm just wondering how do we do this? Because I don't know even if there's consensus, because if we're looking at $60,000 spent and we bring 20,000 people in, that's not a really good ROI per person spent to come into our town. And so I'm struggling from that perspective of utilizing tax dollars in that way. So is there a way to do it less expensively that still gives us that same kind of bang for the buck? And like I said, I'm just spitballing. I don't know for a fact. I'm just opening it for discussion and see if there's anybody else going to bite on that hook.
Andy, your motion went without a second. Let me ask the commissioners. We had 40,000. He asked for 20,000. If we fund 40,000 of it, and Kevin come back after the Christmas parade and they do some planning, and come back and say, I need to add addition to this and addition to that. Are we willing to listen to that?
Yeah, and I'm willing to make a motion for 45,000, which would incorporate the beer garden, with the caveat that he can come back with and ask for marketing funds if he has a specific plan to utilize those funds. I'm okay with that.
And I think that's what we done last year, wasn't it?
Okay, that's. Do I hear a second on that motion?
Just a minute. Yeah, go ahead. Ask for a second.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, and in discussion. Go ahead on your discussion, Commissioner.
What I'd like to start seeing, though, in the future, not only with the Big Bang on the Range, but Festivale and any of these events where we sell food, drinks, hats, T-shirts, beer, whatever the case is, I would like to see what kind of revenue that's generating, because that probably ought to offset some of the budget. Otherwise, where the food and drink money at Big Bang on the Range, where's that go?
And in the past, we've just had food trucks there. There's not concessions set up at Big Bang. Not concessions ran by Parks Department.
What about the money at Festival? I know there's trucks out there, but are we selling anything else?
And we no, and all of those are vendor spots, and I'd be happy to provide you with a budget on all of it. Yes, absolutely.
Is it generating?
But it's
for the city?
A&P money.
Yeah, we get sales tax.
Well, you get the sales tax on the food truck.
Mhm.
What about like a beer garden? Where's that money going?
The,
We're in.
the city has a drink tax, and so the city also gets a drink tax by
Okay.
the,
Good
yeah.
enough.
Mhm.
We got a motion in a
Okay,
second.
right. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion passed. Okay, let's go down to the Christmas parade. It's 45,000. That's what the final line is, correct? All right, for Festival. All right, let's go down to the Christmas parade. Christmas parade, $1,500.
Yeah, I guess it's, I'll make a motion to approve that Christmas parade.
Second.
That would be,
It's been moved and seconded that the Christmas parade is $1,500. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. The next one, the Cupid Shuffle. 5K, 3,500 days from 3,000 to 3,550.
How many people showed up for that?
Cupid's a full 5K. Oh, okay.
I didn't hear that.
I think we had about. Don't make me lie to you. I don't remember. For our first one, there was a decent turnout. 40, I want to say. 40 runners.
40 runners?
Yes.
What is,
And Jim, I'll say this. This is something that I feel like these are one of those unique things to Jacksonville, and I could see us getting behind this. And this is one that I would see us actually, even probably more so than a Big Bang on the Range. I would probably say, why don't we spend some advertising dollars to get this one publicized? I mean, I think these are the unique things where everyone's doing a city festival or everyone's doing this. Find the things that we can do that no one else is doing that is the true draw. I think this is something you rally behind. I think this is something that you start promoting and you pump some dollars into it, even from a sales marketing perspective.
Okay.
Hey, I just got a text. We had 108 runners last year. I'm sorry.
How many?
Obviously, I wasn't there.
how many, Kevin?
108.
Commissioner.
108. And are they from a city outside or
From
where are they?
all over. They're from all over.
When you say all over, means what?
Yeah, we actually had. Well, I think the guy that won it was out of state, if I'm remembering correctly.
And how do you?
Andy, this is probably one of those things that you do have greater opportunity to bring people in from outside the state as a more of a overnight stay. This is something that, obviously you've seen me, my physical stature. I'm not a runner by nature, but there are people who enjoy it. And in this time of year in February, there's not a lot of these type of things going on. And so those folks are looking for that stuff. This is a good one. This is a good one for Jacksonville. A lot of the other stuff we're talking about tonight is quality of life for residents. This one makes sense as far as promoting our city.
Yeah, I mean, I believe because Little Rock's arrange this kind of events often, so this is a healthy event. But how do we market? Because when you're trying to bring more people, that's why I need to know how do we voice out that we have this kind of event. It's 5K. It's a big event. Not everybody can.
From what we've been told is, the best way to market these is on the runners' web pages, which we've done last year. Until we ended up with 108 runners.
Okay, I do have some input on this. Last year, this was prior to all the COVID things that came in, and we're not going to be free of COVID in February. This might.
You can
be-
actually do these,
Go ahead, Mr. Chris Collins.
you can,
I'm done.
Oh. Who was talking? Kevin, was you talking?
yes, you can actually do these virtual. You can, and that's in the plan, we in our, guess you would say our contingency plan is to have a virtual 5K, which is something that's happening a lot right now. You know, they're doing virtual marathons, they're doing it all.
And
Which isn't the route we would want to go because we want to bring people here, but that is an option.
gotcha. But it was happened first time this year, right? In the beginning in February. That's what the first
Correct.
time.
Correct.
And the 21 we planning to do second time. And I think Kevin, you was there. I mean, what was the response from the people? They would like to come back even in the pandemic.
And it's like Roger was saying, those people that run, they eat it up. I mean, they look for these races to go to.
Then I guess I'll make a motion to approve and see we can do a little better way or trying to bring more people. Even we are very close to the 2020 with this pandemic era. How do you plan that? Do you get the registration ahead of time and then you make a plan?
Yes.
So do you already have something? Because we are in November. You're talking about February, so 2 months to go.
Right. And it was approved last year at the same time. And, we just got it, we'll have to jump on it and get it on the websites and get it ready to go.
So Kevin, real quick, I see that the actual cost last year was a little bit over what we had budgeted. And so your budget or your request this year kind of aligns with that. Since we're doing less on Festivale right now, what if we put another $1,000 onto this? Man, you did some advertising here locally too, and not just on those runners' Facebook pages and websites, but maybe got on some TV shows and talked about it, or got some stuff into the state for me. Can we also grow from that perspective?
I'm looking for a second to add his motion to approve it.
Well, he's.
Well, we're kind of also.
Something about adding
He
to
was
it.
on the discussion, and I want a second to add his motion, then we finish the discussion. Do I hear a second to add his motion?
Yeah, I made a motion, right, to approve this fund. Did I?
Yes. 3550. Do I hear a second to 3550?
Second.
Okay, the second. Okay, on the discussion, continue on. Commissioner.
I'm just simply saying that this is something that I would suggest we throw like another $1,000 to it, just for some advertising, maybe getting on some of these morning shows, noon shows, get on some radio shows, do an ad in the statewide newspaper, something like that. Additionally, just to get some more attention to this. I feel one of these type of events is going to be more beneficial for the tourist draw, if you will, aspect of A&P's mission than some of the other things. So I would make a motion that we would increase this to, it was 35. I say we'd increase it to 45.
Okay, you amend that motion to approve that line item from 35
From 30.
to 45.
4550.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
I hear a second to that amendment. Second. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, what's the total on the line? 40 what?
190.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, the next one is the farmer's market. 2,500.
What they do, man, who's representing? Is someone there or they go through Kevin?
Do what now?
Is this someone there from, I mean,
No, this is for parks. Yeah, this is through us.
So what are we planning to do this year at the farmer market thing?
And if I remember correctly, I think this was advertising. We've actually had a successful market this year. I would
You're
first
losing.
time since we've built the market. I would say it was a success between the farmer market days themselves and Market Madness, which is open. Because during the market, it is local or handmade only. During the Market Madness,
It says
you can bring commercial products there as well.
You know, the question on the public market, do I
So-
ask you to do it, accept the, to, fund it $2,500 for farmers market?
So moved.
We have a second.
Second,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Next one is Titan obstacle run. What is that? I don't know what it is.
Titan obstacle course.
If I'm guessing, that's going to be like one of those Ninja Warrior type things, Titan runs, Mud Tough Mudders.
Similar,
One of those.
yeah, that is similar.
One of those.
And we were
fitness
gonna-
things that you never find me at.
I like stuff like that.
The age.
Do I hear a motion to accept $2,500?
Oh, hold on. I have a question. So is this the first time event's going to be?
It will,
this-
yes.
And this is age restricted 6 to 15? Kevin, this is for
Yes.
age years old
It
to
is.
15.
Correct.
And where are you planning to do this one? Where it's gonna be? Venue?
Community center, around the farmer's market walking track in that area.
Oh, outside of the community center? Okay, so
Right.
that, and how do we plan to organize? Who's gonna take a lead or, what's your plan?
That would be Alicia. That would be Alicia.
Okay, and can we get invitation to see, it's gonna be in the daytime, right? After summer, it's in August, so before the school start.
Right. Right.
Okay,
Hey,
I'll make a
Kevin,
motion.
Kevin, are any other surrounding communities doing something like this?
Not that we've seen.
Yeah, no, and that's where I was going with this. This seems pretty unique, and I think this is kind of cool. So,
Yeah.
hats off to whoever came up with this. So, looking at the sources of revenue, so do you think that you could offset this by maybe reaching out to community partners and having them be the sponsors of the prizes and that type of stuff as well?
Possibly. And I'm totally good with doing that. I just feel that we've got to have it budgeted in case we don't get those sponsorships.
Yeah. Well, and I guess what I'm thinking is maybe that I think that you would get the community support to do this. So I wonder if that money could actually go into marketing of the event, because this is pretty darn cool. I like this a lot.
It is. Yeah. And I'm totally good with that as long as we can get those sponsorships. And that's one of the things. And Alicia's not been employed. She's not been part of the team, but maybe not even a month yet. That's one of the things we're going to work on is her getting out and creating more partnerships. So when we're having things like this, it's, hey Roger, this is what we're doing. What do you think? This
And
is
so I
you
would-
as an example there.
And so I would lean on the rest of the commissions for their wisdom on this. Could we approve the funding request with the caveat that they then go out and secure corporate sponsors for the needs in the next 30 days, and then this money turns into, now it's going to be a marketing expense for them to promote this and get even more kids in here?
If the commission chose to do that, it's fine. You make the motion?
I would make that motion that we approve the funding request with the stipulation that the first priority is to have them go out and secure or solicit corporate sponsors for their needs, and then we can transform those dollars into pure advertising dollars.
I hear a second.
Second,
All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Pass.
Approved, okay. Next one is the splash zone. Splash pad giant. Oh, wait. That's Grant, okay. Kevin? We're gonna talk your horse tonight.
And on this, just if y'all remember, I brought this to you guys early in the year last year before we started working in this grant. On the grant, the 50/50 matching grant. We have been invited and actually presented at the grant hearing, but we have not got word if we've received this grant or not.
I can't really understand what he's saying. Can you?
He's applied for the grant and
Yeah.
that was what he came to the commission for. At this point in time, they have not received approval on that grant. I placed it a line item in the budget so that y'all would be aware that y'all had already verbally supported this. grant.
Contingent on
Contingent on the approval.
Right.
Okay.
Let that be, I hoping with that the commissions be the same way. Can we make that motion for that? Just as she said it.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, that's passed, okay. All right, thank you, very Kevin, we appreciate it. I hope you get a big buck.
Okay,
Hey,
thank
Kevin.
y'all.
Hey, Kevin, real quick. Is there any update on the dog park? How's that coming along?
It is, I'm actually presenting Thursday night to get fencing.
Okay.
It was over 20, so city and council don't have to necessarily approve it because they're on state contract. It's more of informational to them that we'll be spending $22,000 on fencing, $23,000. Water is in, where got the dog wash station and all the amenities that are ordered. They're coming in just sporadically. So as soon as we get fencing, we'll be ready to pour concrete, and hopefully in 60 days it'll be open.
So have we announced that this is happening to the public?
Not yet. For the simple fact, it took weeks for me to get pricing for fencing. The fencing contractors are just so busy. I mean, actually, I call 3 fence companies, they all put me off a minimum of 2 weeks. One of them put me off 3 weeks to even come to send an estimator. So I wanted an idea of when the fencing would get put in before they announced it.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. I just had an update. I was curious about it.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Kev.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, let's move on. Military Museum. You comment? Yeah, I saw. Historic Museum, Historic Day. All right, $1,200. Anybody want to talk? You want to say something? You want to talk?
I'll come up if
Come up here.
anybody's got any questions.
Yeah, come up here in case we got some questions for you here. Stand right here.
Oh, okay.
All right. Do I hear a motion to $1,200 for the Military Museum?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, next is the Museum of History. Welcome.
I didn't hear anybody say aye with that.
You didn't hear nobody say aye?
Commissioner Ray. Hey, Reedy.
Yes.
Just for full disclosure, I'm not going to vote on these simply because I'm a board member of the Military Museum, and I just feel like it's a conflict for me. So I'll answer any questions and add to the discussion, but as it relates to the actual vote, I'm going to need to abstain from those just from a conflict standpoint.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate that. Okay. Okay, the next item is number 2, Welcome Home Vietnam Vets, $3,200. Anybody have any question on that one? Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You hear that, Madam Secretary? All right, operational assistant, $40,000.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
No discussion?
We discussing the military museum. Operational assistant.
We can have discussion.
What we budgeted last year?
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Go ahead, Andy.
I'm just asking what we budgeted last year. This is not the first time. I guess we had a gray area discussion from last few years when we had to budget for the military of museum. So what we did last year, we are doing the same way.
It was 40,000 last year also. It's the
Okay.
same amount.
Then I don't see any problem to approve that if it's the same amount.
All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
All right, let's move on.
Thank you, Warren.
Thank you, appreciate you.
your input on all that.
We moving on to the Chamber of Commerce. All right. Okay. For me personally, I think the Chamber had a pretty good year this year. And I think everything went well, and I think it can do better. When this problem is over our heads, things gonna get better for us all around. Okay, Chamber of Commerce, the first item of business is the $3,500.
35,000.
I'm sorry. Ooh, thank you, bro. Come here.
And this is one of the gray area item too. Is Courtney there today?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Here, you want to ask us some questions?
No, I'm just wanted to, if it's on a discussion, so how we wanted to fund, this is directly we are funding or?
I have a motion to fund the 35,000.
Wait a minute, he's saying, what do you say, Andy?
What I was asking that do we directly funding to the Chamber of Commerce, or do we still have to go through the Jacksonville Park and Recreation?
No, that's direct to the Chamber of Commerce.
It's a service contract for economic development.
Okay, and we did, and what we funded last year, Courtney?
35,000, the same.
Okay, and you already have that, all the expenditures and all that? Yeah, we have a contract with you, but
Right.
Or
So I submit a quarterly report and then I get my checks quarterly.
okay, got it, I guess. Then I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All right, thank you. Okay.
Aye.
Don't. Nobody going too fast here. All right, okay, all right. Next one is Shop Small. Is $1,904.
I move to accept.
Cool, you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, I just requested funding for 2020, which I'll approve, and then this will be for 2021, so I don't have to come back.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve?
Got a motion and a second.
Courtney, I have a questions for you, really quick.
Yes, sir.
Did we, how's about the membership this year and looking forward for 2021?
Surprisingly, our membership is going pretty well. Most people are renewing. There is a slight decrease. I don't know if people are just waiting till the last minute to pay. Our overall funding is down a little bit. I think it's just previous years catching up with us, but we're doing just fine.
Do we optimistically see more membership because now we have to work hard and knock the door and reach out to the people, right?
Yes, sir, absolutely. We've had to get a little creative on how we contact people and, making sure they're there and it's appropriate for us to come by. But we've been bringing in new members. We just brought in a $2,000 level membership last week with a new business in Jacksonville that moved here from Cabot. So that was good news.
Yeah.
And
because
Andy, I'll kind of advocate for Courtney real quick that keeping an eye on all the various chambers that we're members of. I mean, Jacksonville is becoming as active, if not more so, than a lot of the surrounding chambers of commerce, and so that's encouraging to see how much activity Courtney has generated and engagement she's got going. I mean, we've got really good things going on with our Chamber of Commerce right now. So I think that's a testament to Courtney and the work that she's put in and her team, and I look forward to her building on that going forward.
Yeah, that's what we look forward to see, because not only retaining, and I know that I had a good discussion with Courtney year before, that she's doing a great job and continue doing it. So because we wanted to see that Jacksonville as attraction for the businesses and all that stuff. You know, that's the most important thing, that people
Yeah, I
look for
think
do the more business in town.
I think the relationship between the city and the chamber is more cohesive as well. So I think we're marching to the same drumbeat. We still have a ways to go, but we're way better than we used to be.
Perfect. Keep doing the good job, Courtney.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. All right, thank you. All right, Courtney, we got one more to go here, I believe.
Three more.
Three more to go. The next line item is ABPG, Economic Development Ads. It's 2930.
Right, so we did this
Yes.
the year before last. This is just me being the middleman and helping to develop the economic development ad for that publication.
Yeah, this is one of those you kind of have to do type things. So I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve this one.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. All right, that's happening. All right, the next item is Metro Little Rock Guide Ad,
This-
3895.
It's kind of the same thing. This publication is out for a full year. It's a relocation guide. I include it in my relocation packets for businesses and residents.
Make a motion, we approve
Yeah,
3875.
Second.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, the next one is the City Profile Business Directory.
So this is a new request. Normally, we have a third party that puts together the city profile business directory. The chamber made a small percentage of the ad sales from that, very little, less than $1,000. Due to our lack of funding this year, we've taken it upon ourselves to coordinate that, and we are able to lower the cost of the ads for businesses to be put in. So the funding request is for the printing and mailing of the publications. And then it'll be sort of a fundraiser for the chamber on the ad sales. I'll answer any questions that you have too.
Any question on the $33,945 that the Chamber of Commerce is asking for the business
I
dictionary?
guess so. I'm not understanding fully what the request is for. We could get it before for 2380. Well, I mean, it's what we budgeted before, right?
I don't know if y'all ever budgeted for this before.
I'm looking at the number.
Okay. This is to print and mail, and if you look at the handout, it shows we're mailing it to every resident in Jacksonville, the PO boxes, the Air Force Base addresses, and then we'll print some to have on hand at the chamber, here at the city, and then any businesses who buy ads as well.
Courtney, I think the last year's budget was for their ad itself.
Oh, okay. So, and that includes A&P having a full ad in the directory as well, then, which I have a copy of.
Yeah, I think that all got one of those.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Do I hear approval? I hear
Courtney,
motion.
is Steve there as well?
Yes.
How are these printed and handled in other communities? Because we've been, the bank's visited by
Right.
representatives selling membership directories
So,
consistently yearly. How are they normally handled?
So Al Canelli, who did ours last year and the year before that, who I've worked with in Maumelle and other communities, he does Maumelle, Cabot, Sherwood, and Jacksonville. He mentioned to me when I told him we were thinking about this, that we aren't the only city thinking about this, or chamber thinking about this. Other chambers use this as a fundraising opportunity as well.
And so would in other communities, would A&P be the ones they're asking to fund this, or would they be out beating down the doors to the membership to fully fund this?
I can't say specifically, but I would guess that they're out trying to at least break even. I'm not sure. I talked to Benton Chamber, he's, someone who I talk to and get advice from. And he has encouraged myself and other communities to look at doing it in-house as well, but the printing cost and the mailing cost obviously are big expenses, so that's why I came and asked for the funding request. Because it is community development, economic development, it's mailed to every resident. I use it in all my relocation packets that I send to incoming businesses and residents and prospective businesses, so it'll be in PDF form as well to be emailed, so.
Any other discussion?
If, can we not get the same thing if we use what we've done in the past? I mean.
Right, but that person is,
Not guaranteed. Even though he tells us they're married, they are mailed to everyone. For 2 years, I didn't get one. And I had had one and I didn't get one. So that's another reason why we took it over. We can guarantee everybody that has an address, PO box in the 787679 zip code will be mailed.
Who's fulfilling that? Who's fulfilling that piece, Steve?
I'm sorry, do what, Rod?
AOP will do the printing, and then what's the name of the?
Arkansas Mailing will
Arkansas
do the mailing.
Okay.
And I'll have my finger on both of them. To make sure that everybody gets them that has an address.
Are we ready to vote? Any other discussion?
You gotta have a motion.
And I put it in there that on the front of this, it would say funded by Jacksonville A&P Commission, and again, the full page ad will be in there again as well.
Do I have a motion on this line item? Chamber of Commerce is 33,945. See the profile.
Can't hear much.
I didn't hear you. Who was that said something?
Yeah,
You know,
wait,
Andy.
Did you make
I cannot hear much when we are speaking from the mask on. What Courtney said, I did not get it, so that's why I said I did not hear.
I'm asking for a motion on this line item for the Chamber of Commerce. $33,945 for city profile business and dictionary, business dictionary. Say it again. Directory, I'm sorry. No. Go ahead, second.
Was it a 3,300 or 33,000 you're talking about?
33,000.
Oh, okay.
When are you trying to print this, Courtney?
We would like it to go out in January since it'll be the 2021 publication.
How long will it take to get it printed and mailed out?
Probably at least couple weeks probably to get it all printed and mailed out.
A couple weeks. But
Once
we
it
still
all
have to
gets
get all
finalized.
the.
So are we talking about, because I had to drive back, so I'm driving, not looking at anything. But are we talking about the 33,000 to just print the directory?
To print and mail it to every address in Jacksonville.
That's over 20,000.
And you were asking this kind of fund first time ever, right?
Correct, because we've used a third party in the past, and this year we chose not to do that.
33,000. Ooh.
And what did he charge in the
What are we trying to?
I think we got 8% of the ad sales, which I think it was under $1,000, maybe $890.
But how much did it cost us?
It didn't cost the chamber anything.
Gotcha.
We just got a cut of the ad sales.
So Courtney, what we trying to achieve here, spending the big amount, 33,000, when we are very conservative about the fund?
We're gonna reach more Jacksonville residents, and again, I mail this out to prospective businesses coming into Jacksonville, and new residents also request me to send them material. We will have it mailed to every address in Jacksonville, businesses, Little Rock Air Force Base, PO boxes, We plan to have copies for every room in our hotels in Jacksonville. We just want it to be utilized as much as possible. There's a lot of great information in there.
But what
Hey, what's the-
ROI we are looking, Roger? Because you are in this business, you know, you understand the marketing and this kind of stuff more than anybody else. So, because this is not a small amount.
It's not a small amount, which is why I haven't piped in as quickly as I usually do. So from a digital standpoint, because I know print is the necessary engine to get into a lot of homes. What is the digital follow-up that you can utilize these files for to accentuate and expand on the digital and mobile offerings of this membership guide?
Right, so we plan to have it in PDF form to send it out in email, and there'll be a link on our website, and I can provide the link to A&P Commission's website, the city's website, whoever wants to utilize it.
And so within that PDF, because I know, like, for example, the Democrat Gazette has and I think the Leader does now as well, the capability to create individual links to businesses within newspaper advertising. Would we be able to take that on as far as creating links to the individual businesses who choose to advertise as well to drive traffic back to their website?
Can Tom do that?
Yeah, Tom would probably do that. We'd set up a page, as long as that page is known to whoever wants to do it. So if you send out that page to all your customers, Roger, then they could always go to that page, yes.
Yeah, well, what I'm thinking about is if this is residing on the chamber website, if you blasted it out and put it on the chamber Facebook page, if it's in newsletter format, any of those ads or listings should be able to go directly toward those businesses' websites. I think that has the added value that you can justify a little bit more than a printed cost.
Yeah, as long as that company's willing to put that on their website, yes.
Well, I think what I'm asking, Steve, is as long as the businesses that are advertising are allowing us to redirect from that PDF to their website. So, for example, if AOP runs a full page ad, then if I click on that ad, then it would take me to Arkansas Office Products website.
I don't see why that couldn't be done as long as it's electronic.
Yeah.
But
Courtney, can you look into that, Courtney, for us?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need a second for this motion. I got a motion already. I need a second.
Who made the motion?
I didn't hear you.
Commissioner Green,
Second.
Who?
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye. We got a second. I know somebody gonna say aye.
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 I did not completely understand, so I wanted to stay abstain on this one.
All right, okay. Motion passed.
No, it didn't.
I can
I had three
clarify.
ayes.
Well, Andy
I had three ayes.
said he couldn't really vote. He's abstaining. He said aye, but he said he's abstaining.
Who is that?
Andy, because he couldn't
It's
really.
me.
Correct?
Because I need to know, because I believe in the digital marketing, but not to printing so much money spending behind the paper or books. So I need to understand that when we are talking about approving $33,000 for books, that spending, I wanted to stay abstain for that part.
Well, hey,
Unless
Andy,
somebody-
let me try to clarify this a little bit if I can. If you look, and I don't think you can because you're driving, so you shouldn't be looking at this, but they're looking at a 20,000 piece print job at about $1.25 each. And so when you look at price per unit, it's really a super good deal. It just seems like a lot because you're printing such a large quantity and you're mailing them in home. Now, I'm on your side. I really don't like printed material that much, but I realize that a lot of our community does still respond to print media. Whether I like it or not, that's still a part of my marketing mix at the bank. And so I have to take that into account with newspapers, with billboards, with phone directories and that kind of stuff. So the price unit or the price per unit is really kind of good. It just seems astronomical because you're doing 20,000 of them.
But where are we reaching? Because our population is 30,000. I mean, and what are you putting in those books? You know, how are we getting that money reimbursed? Because it's costing you $1, but are you putting the ad with the money and trying to reimburse? Because
Yeah. So
you're giving
what I'm trying to push for here, and Courtney and Steve can jump in and correct me if it's not possible. What I'm trying to do, Andy, is add the value that you and I are both looking for as business people, and I'm sure anybody would be, is the printed piece is going to go into, 20,000 homes on the Air Force Base and the PO boxes and the homes in 72076. The component that I want is the electronic component of that same membership guide, which is residing on the Chamber's website, within Chamber email newsletters, within respective social media feed, that then has, when you open up that membership directory, you're going to see one of your hotel's ads, for example. You're going to click on that hotel ad, and it's going to take you to that respective hotel's website to take further action. I want more calls to action on the digital side being complemented by the print version.
So this book includes a welcome letter from the mayor, includes elected officials' contact information, utility information. It includes information on our schools here in Jacksonville, adult education. I don't know if you've ever seen one, but it includes a quality of life section that has stuff about our Parks and Rec and our festivals that we have. It includes a community calendar with all of our festivals and events that happen in Jacksonville. It includes healthcare page. It includes a page about the Little Rock Air Force Base. It's really about quality of life, and I not only get these in the hands of the residents, but I send these in the recruitment packets to prospective businesses that I'm trying to get them to choose Jacksonville. And when you have to have something that looks nice when you mail it, or when they come for a site visit, it's nice to have something that looks nice and has all the information they need to put in their hand.
And how's about Courtney, how's about all the hotels and the restaurants who bring this A&P tax dollar? Are they gonna be a free listing with the good pages?
If you're a chamber member, you have a listing in the directory, and we're gonna deliver this to every hotel in Jacksonville to have enough for every room in their hotel.
No, I'm not asking about who's member of chamber, because this is the A&P tax dollar. The money comes from the hotels and the restaurants. They should have a free listing. Can you able to do that? Because we wanted to see this money goes, who are bringing the dollar to you. Those are the dollar come from the hotels and all the restaurants. They should have a free listing, regardless of they are a member of chambers or not.
Well, then I have to reevaluate my whole, how I do my chamber side.
You should.
How I do.
Yes, you should, because that's a money.
Right.
Okay, so Mr. Collins,
How much revenue do you expect to be generated by this for you?
Depending on how many ads we sell, we're hoping that we can sell enough to make $10,000. Ask me if we've done that yet.
No.
No.
So you get, Courtney, what I was saying, that who's supposed to be in there other than what you wanted to do there in that books?
What's the question?
yes, she got it, we got, yes, she got it.
I understand
Yeah,
the
she
question.
understands. Okay, now, one commissioner said, well, I didn't have enough votes, but I thought I had a 3-to-1 vote. A 3-to-1.
No, I can be a vote, change it to that, but I wanted to see if everyone agrees that all the restaurants and hotels, they should be a part of this book without costing them anything, regardless of they are a member or not.
A&P page, every hotel and restaurant listed on the A&P page that's sponsored by the A&P Commission.
You agree to that, Andy?
Yes, as far as they are coming, yes. What
Okay.
Courtney understood what I said, and if you agree, then I can be a part of the vote.
Yeah, and I think what Courtney had just brought up was a really good idea of the A&P ad that we get in there would be dedicated to all the hotels and restaurants in the community, and that would give you the the look you're going for with having all of the businesses profiled regardless of chamber membership. But the flip of that is this is also something to show the benefit of chamber membership to the when it comes time for renewals. So I see it's a double-edged sword. I see your perspective. I also see Courtney's perspective. I think the solution of putting all hotels and restaurants on the A&P sponsored page could be a good compromise.
That's just fine. Yeah, I mean, as far as their listing is there under the A&P page, I should be okay. Not only that appreciating word of the restaurants and hotels, I would like to see all the restaurants and hotels listing in there.
If you had much room or not,
Right here.
okay.
And we can put this in,
Then
the ED part on a separate page that I'll.
We can put it there, Andy.
Yes. If it's as far as what Roger and Courtney understood what I was trying to tell you, then I'll be a part of that motion. And I said yes.
You got a yes vote? Your vote is yes?
Yes, aye.
Okay, Madam Secretary.
We probably need to amend that motion to include what Amy wants. And then then do another vote on that because of
And Courtney, I would like to see that book. Well, when are
included in the motion with caveat that it's going to include a listing on that ad page.
Did you hear that, Andy? Say it.
No, man. I'm sorry.
The motion for the funding of this line item needs to be amended to include the fact that the funds are approved with the contingency that there's a listing of hotels and motels included on the back page within the A&P Commission's ad.
I have another question.
Do I hear a motion?
Well, I thought we had a motion on the table.
No, not amended motion. Do I hear a motion on amended motion? And
I'll make a motion there.
you make that motion, Andy?
Yes, but not only hotel, motel, and a restaurant too. Sorry, he said hotel and motel only, but should be the restaurant as well.
Right, we got that too. Do you make that
Okay,
motion?
got you. Yes, I'll make a motion.
I second that.
Okay, second it, okay, under discussion.
Part of this is it not contingent upon selling ads? I mean, if we fund $33,000 and we print our own book, which we have a book right there that somebody else printed, what's the purpose of that unless you know you're going to be selling ads to generate money for you?
But I stated the ad sales is somewhat of a fundraiser for the chamber.
I
because
got
we are
that,
allowed-
but you don't even know. I mean, you're pretty sure you could
We're
sell.
going based off of who's bought in the past 2 years. Yes, sir.
We've already sold more than $890 that we got when they printed it. So we're already ahead of the game on that end. It's just the amount of the cost of the printing and the mailing that.
And we were able to lower the price of the ads to hopefully benefit some of our smaller businesses who have turned their head to the price of the ads.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor of amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, amendment passed. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 All right, motion passed. All right.
Courtney,
Is that
who's gonna do their ad? Are you gonna
I
do
can
it?
work with Mickey.
Okay.
I think that was 2 ayes.
There's two ayes.
I'm not sure why we had a second vote there.
Did you show a motion passed?
One was for the amendment and the
The
second
amendment
one
was
was
first.
for the
You
motion.
you have to vote on the amendment first, then you come back and vote on the motion.
Well, then the motion we need to go back through is
Should have four for the both of them. You didn't, you did the ayes for both of them. You had ayes all the way around. It was approved. Okay, that's it. That's the Chamber of Commerce. That's yours. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you.
Next item of business is wheeling and healing car. Read that for me, sister.
Wheeling and Healing Car Show, Car and Truck Show.
Truck show.
It's just another $3,000, which is what was requested for 2020. And they still down there advertising secondary to the COVID. But they're hoping to, in 2021, to be back where they were previously.
Hey, I asked Goodman last year if it's possible, it can be overnight. So is it possible?
No, Andy.
They can't do it.
Because we wanted to see if they spend more time, stay in the hotel and spend more time and eat at the restaurant, you know. It's a very short event.
Just like you
Can
said last year, that can't be done.
These guys are
what is the reason?
one day shows. All they do is come show their car one day and go back.
On the same day?
Most of the time, Andy, they go to another show the next day.
But they don't come at least overnight. Are they coming from out of
They
state?
come and go back home and go to another show the next day.
Okay, I'm just trying.
But it's
If
well
they stay,
attended
you know.
now. You saying restaurants now, it's well attended. So therefore, it's money spent in the city.
And it was a good show last year. Yeah, I know. But I guess
Okay, do I have-
I'll make a motion.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All right. Next one's the Little Rock Air Force Base Air Show Open House. I don't know if we're gonna have one this year or not. We don't know yet, so we just go ahead and fund that.
It's not canceled.
Pardon?
2020s was canceled.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
We have to make a motion. Sorry, we have to make a motion because actual show supposed to be this year, right? 2020, but
We don't
because of the
know.
COVID.
Go ahead.
No. Originally, it was supposed to be in 2020, right?
Yes.
Yes. But they.
But
what-
next,
Go ahead.
so they
Andy.
might bring. No, so we are expecting that might be happen next year. That's why we wanted to budget for that part right now.
The next air show is actually in 2022, but each year, they either do the air show on one year and then the second year they do the ball.
Oh, okay, got you.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second,
On the question? All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. What's the next item of business? Governor's Conference on Tourism. You going this year, Andy?
Yeah, but I hope that it will happen. So I will definitely. We had a good time in Hot Spring. Yes,
Okay, all right.
I'll make a motion. I guess I go every year.
Yes, second.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Anything else, Madam Secretary?
No, sir.
Anything else we need to cover
In the budget?
on the budget, right?
No, sir, not unless you, unless you want to skim through the due on that.
No.
Well, the due twos is just our regular 2%. We get half of whatever comes in, but, and so
All right.
that's a formula based on the
Okay.
revenues that
Are
we
we saying we
projected.
want to approve the budget of $758,724?
I'll make a motion.
Right here, second.
Is that with all the changes?
With all of the changes, the budgeted undesignated went from 64,326 up to 78,326. So
That's 758, 724. Was that a running total?
that 758 is actually just for the special projects part, which is the Parks and Recs and the Military Museum.
So do we have a running total updated on this?
So the grand total altogether is 796,274. And that leaves 78,000 for anything that may pop up throughout the year.
And that's include that 50% goes to the park and recreation, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that
You
doesn't
stay
leave,
conservative.
that's not a whole lot of money.
We approve, do I hear a motion to approve the $796,274?
Yeah, I made a motion.
Oh, that's not right, that's not right, I did it wrong. That's not, sure, did I do that wrong, didn't I?
I just corrected you,
Yeah,
Reedy, with
right.
the 796,000. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back to the budget now. Read that off to me again, what we need to approve. The total, Cheryl, read that off to me again. I got something wrong there.
The total expenditure budget is now $796,274. And that will leave $78,326 for undesignated items.
Okay, everybody hear that?
Yes.
Okay,
And
do I
I'll
hear
make a motion for that. Yes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, thank you. Thank you, fellow commissioners, for going through the budget for, the 2020, 21. And, I think we're gonna have a good year. I think the Lord gonna bless us to go forward. And I think it's gonna be very good for the city of Jacksonville. And I thank you for representing the city of Jacksonville. And it did take us an hour and a half, a little better to do it, but thank you very much. Do I hear
Thank
a
you.
motion to
Thank
adjourn?
you all.
I move to adjourn.
There's some announcements.
Oh, an announcement. Oh.
I revoke my motion.
Go read the announcements.
Parks and Recreation will host the 43rd Annual Holiday Craft and Gift Sale on Friday, November 20th from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday, November 21st from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Admission is $2 for adults and $1 for children ages 12 to 18. The event will feature original works of art and unique gifts from Arkansas artists and vendors from surrounding areas. Concessions will be available and ADH guidelines will be enforced. The Chamber of Commerce will host Shop Small Christmas Crawl on Saturday, November the 28th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Vendor shopping will be held at the Jacksonville Farmers Market Pavilion. Parks and Recreation will host the 63rd Annual Reverse Christmas Parade on December 5th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. The parade will begin at the corner of James and Main Streets and will end at the First United Methodist Church. Floats will be set up at stationary spots for spectators to drive along the parade route in view.
Any other questions? Anything else need to be brought to the commission, A&P Commission? If not, we adjourn. Thank you.